Hello and welcome to the round 2 review after the Blues lose again to Hawthorn. 8 goals 12, 60 to 12 goals 8, 80 in front of 60 odd thousand at the MCG on Thursday night, 7 days after the round 1 collapse. Pretty much just more of the same issues rearing their head last night. The week was interesting. Following round 1, we had Friday, which we learned was membership day, which was cancelled. We then went through a week of silence from the club, especially on social media. Very few posts, if any. Only the last few days before game day, 3 or 4 sponsored posts. Got to tick the boxes, fair enough. But it was all about the football. It was all about how we respond. Press conference was very much the same. Coach was saying, I can say whatever I want, but it's all about how we respond. And to be fair, there was a response in intensity and effort over the 4 quarters. And ultimately, the team's just not good enough. And that's just the way it is. It's just not good enough at the moment. It has an inability to lift and rise in the crucial moments. It works so hard. I won't question the effort last night. I think those guys went out there and absolutely cracked in. You're just at that point where everyone's giving effort. We've relied on it being the source of how we win. We play with just a greater intensity than the opposition, and sometimes we get some momentum with that. But then the reality of, you've got effort and then you've got just pure coaching and tactics on the other end, and having a total buy-in to what's happening and everyone understanding exactly what they need to do out there on the field. And you see break down and you see the teams that can use the ball efficiently just carve up Carlton. It's just a bit of a rinse and repeat. So it pissed down yesterday. Absolutely bucketed. I got there super early. I actually did something on game day which I've never in my life been able to do. I'm so excited. I'm so worked up. I had a nap yesterday. Can you believe that? I had a nap. I actually found a way to fall asleep. It was 20 minutes, but whatever. It was a nap. Because I knew it would be a late night regardless. Just laid down and yeah, I thought that was interesting. Then I got to the G pretty early. I sat in my seat and just watched the rain come down. I was full of tension, but then also the excitement kicks in. I guess I just wanted to sit there and soak it all up. And yeah, it poured down rain. And then we got the news that Harry Mackay was a late withdrawal with illness. Vossi mentioned that he was sick in the morning and they called it whenever they called it. So maybe we'll get some more details around that over the next few days. Maybe he just woke up? And something's not right when I get that news. I don't know how you all felt when you saw the news. I get that news. I saw the tweet or I saw the update, and my first reaction was bullshit. Which is not fair if it's the truth. If he just literally just woke up not feeling well. But straight away I was like, nah, something else is up. And I think that speaks to the lack of trust between myself and the club. I don't speak on behalf of anyone else, but I'm curious how you felt about that news. And if Harry is sick, well, he's sick. I hope he feels better, and we need him. I felt a real tension and darkness with Carlton people. I saw it on their faces. And maybe it was just, I saw it because I felt it. And maybe that was just my reality and that wasn't everyone's reality. But I just felt and saw it on people's faces. There was almost this resignation of, oh, something bad's about to happen. I saw it on the train. Not many conversations between Carlton families. There was a bit of a despondence around what I saw. And again, maybe it's just because that's what I was feeling on the inside. So there was that. And I even felt it in the pregame. I didn't hear as much energy in the crowd. They did the pregame warm-ups. They did the pregame introductions, player by player. Like Cripps usually gets a bit of a shout. Charlie obviously got a bit of a shout. It was his first game back. I'm trying to think. Maybe Jack Silvani might have, but it just wasn't there. And I felt it there. And again, I'll ask you if you felt that as well pre-game, just like a darkness, just a bit of a silence. And then the boys come out. Oh, can someone please, could we have a conversation around the Freddie Mercury into Seven Nation Army? Turn it off. Turn Freddie Mercury off. It doesn't work. It is like screeching noise in my soul, and it makes me want to stick a fork in my eye. Stop it. How has no one had a conversation around this? It didn't work when we were up and about. It didn't catch on. What are we still pushing on with it? It's painful. It's annoying. Turn the fucking thing off. Play Seven Nation Army, and that's it. What is this? It's so annoying. It's like, and again, maybe it's because we're going in with the frustration, but even I'm trying to remember when we brought it in, it was during the run. It didn't catch on. It's annoying. Who's making the decision? Who sits at the table and says, yep, we're going to do it again this week? Or, yep, I think it's working. We're going to play it again all year 2025. Stop it. Just have the self-awareness. Put the ego aside. Turn it off. Please. It's terrible. It always has been. Because you want it to catch on, but you're playing two different sounds. You're playing the Freddie Mercury thing, and then you want Seven Nation Army. It's too much, mate. It's garbage. Please turn it off. It's no good. Friday night, I don't want to hear it. My ears will bleed. Anyway, that happens. And so, again, it just added to the fuel of the darkness. And then the way the game started, the first play of the game, literally 20 seconds in, a moment of a lapse in concentration. Chol takes the mark on Lewis Young. Just a moment. First entry, Hawthorn goal. And I've said this before, when you see those signs early in games, you don't want to jump to conclusions, but then it happens again. Josh Whittle takes a chest mark. At this stage, it was wet, well and truly wet, and the Hawks were finding targets inside 50. I thought we were fortunate to not be down by more in the first quarter because the Hawks just didn't capitalize on the opportunities that they had created. We were very close at quarter time, and it just... I felt like we got away with a bit, but it is what it is. Hawthorn didn't capitalize, and that was just the way the game was played out. I then saw a positive sign in the second quarter. I saw us push through to the point where I thought, wow, that trepidation early in the game, like the players didn't have energy to feed off to start the game, so to speak, as much. And they just found a way in the second quarter and started moving the needle. Chera kicks a goal, gets us in the lead. I think it might have been by 10 or 11 at this point. And we're moving. And I was really, for the first time, I think it was the although the Chera goal or the Adam Sard goal, which it was just great to the Zach Williams goal. It was just great to see Adam Sard bursting out of the middle of the ground, bouncing the ball, long booming kick, and mate, Adam Sard bouncing the ball, running, is literally it's like an antidepressant. It just gave me a shot of life. I'm like, oh, exciting. Yep, that's it. They're learning. They're figuring it out. So a bit of momentum came back to Carlton, and I was proud that they had pushed through the lack of energy from the crowd early. It was from what I felt, and I thought we're making a game of this. Hawks kicked a couple late, and then you get to halftime. We're up. Still pretty stressful, but I thought, this is a cracking game of football, and we're engaged, and we're in this, and we're going to be okay. And then start of the third quarter, lapses in concentration. Hawthorn eventually get that fifth goal in a row on either side of the break, and they break it out a little bit. There was a bit of a fight back. And then much of the same, similar to last week, to be honest. We kicked 2 goals, 8 in the second half, don't take our opportunities, compounded with just the little moments not going our way. But then, as the game starts getting closer to the final siren and the pressure starts building, the fumbles start happening, the miscommunication, misalignment starts cracking open again. And to be honest, with 10 minutes to go, you start seeing the petulance and the frustration come to the surface. Players going into contests, looking straight at the umpire, asking for a free kick, which may have been there earlier in the game, but, and there were some things that just didn't go our way. Goal line, free kicks that went against us that don't usually get paid. Score reviews, snickos, like little things. So it just compounded, and yeah, Hawks run away with it by 20 points. And that's the result. And that's it. So I didn't feel as angry, there was obviously like a sadness and a frustration, and start zooming out pretty quickly. Like, wow, Hawthorn just did the job. If you're a Hawk watching, would love to see and read through how you played out the game in your mind, and how it played out for you, and what you thought about it. But they came in. I was really impressed with the way Sam Mitchell spoke last week after their win, and identifying that the way that they were playing was not sustainable in terms of winning. Just they were so prepared. They were prepared, and Carlton, were we prepared? They had to have been prepared. I just don't think we're very good. And that's the reality. I think we're just an average team. The gloss has washed away, which is kind of symbolic given how much it rained. The gloss of, they wear the Carlton monogram, therefore they must be good, has worn away. Maybe that's also me just growing up, not fanboying anymore, not idolizing the individuals anymore. Maybe that's what it is. But to be fair, I did think that effort and that intensity was there. Is that going to be sustainable for an entire season? We will see. It's very laborious the way we play, but it's hard, honest work, and it's not skillful. Does fatigue come into that equation, and does that hinder our ability to play with skill? Because you just see Hawthorn were willing to take the kick that Carlton were not willing to take. So for me, that's not work rate. For me, that's just that the guys are already not playing on instinct. And this is the cycle and the pattern that I see come through with Carlton, that we've got to get through this point in the season where the pressure cooker's on, the fans, the external, everyone's lambasting them. And then you get to that point where the circuit breaker happens, whatever that means, and the pressure comes off a bit because everyone's written Carlton off and kind of sick of talking about Carlton or we're in such a hole that the external will just write Carlton off as a contender or even a final side, and that's generally when the instinct starts kicking in and they start enjoying their footy again. But yeah, right now it just isn't it. So what? Yeah, you're just left wondering, a continuation of last week. You know what? Are we just waiting? Is it pound the rock, keep going down this path, just keep pounding the rock. Eventually, it'll crack open and burst open, and then what we are seeing now will be a top 4 team. Because at the end of the day, like, I understand, and I agree with the sentiment around Vossi at times, and even the club at times. Like, too many probablys and too many not sures. There's not enough definitive language. It's like, if you don't know, then you should know. You need to definitively know what the solutions are. That's why you're hired. So when I hear, well, probably, it's kind of like a light version of giving me the message. And that's where I raise questions like, what are you all talking about on the inside? What's everyone doing on the inside? Are you giving each other probablys? Or are we viciously competitive collectively? So that's what leads me down that path. And then there's the whole cancelling membership day, just not willing to face the music, not willing to face the fans. It's going to be one of those weeks where the fan sentiment will just batten down the hatches and just sort of let it go. I'm left questioning, am I more sad and more angry than the players and everyone on the inside? It can't be that way. Those players must be hurting. They must be hurting. They are hurting. And I think it's unfair to suggest that they're not. But yeah, the club, man. It's just misaligned all over the shop. Vossi wants Houston. We don't get Houston. So like, just a misalignment on coaching list management there. And for what it's worth, I love the Jagger move. I don't subscribe to the fact that Dan Houston's going to fix that. Come on. They don't work well enough for each other for that to work. It's just another individual name that eventually would succumb to the fact that, it is a bunch of individuals. There are some players that are shining lights. Tom De Koning's a shining light. Jack Silvani's a shining light. Patrick Cripps, George Hewitt. We had some really great individual performances last night. I even thought Jesse Motlop showed a bit last night. Like, there were signs. So I'm just mindful, is it just keep pushing, play like that last night, add some accuracy for goodness sake, and maybe it can turn. I can find more hope from last night than obviously the week before, even though the week before there was a dominance in the play early in the game. So I do think it's really important, like the rhetoric around, change and sack him and sack that, like, fair enough. But that noise wasn't there in October when change could actually be made. And it makes sense to be made because you want a coach to have a preseason with a group. I am really questioning whether or not our game style is going to be good enough, because the effort can be good enough, but every team has effort, man. Like, if we're banking on our contest and pressure being so dominant that it's going to win us a flag, then we'll see how that one plays out. But time is ticking and pressure is mounting, and the club were able to hold on when the walls were caving in, so to speak, in 2023. There was strong leadership at the top. For all the funny stuff about Luke Sayers in this preseason, like, to be fair, he was a big part of the reason why there was a holding on in 2023 2023. I don't know what the current leadership of the club is going to be like. President, I just don't know. I don't know. The disconnect between who runs the club and the people who support the club is growing. It's a generational gap. You've got people who don't really understand what it's like to grow up as a child and then into your early adolescence and then now, as an adult, like with no success, because they've always got the memory of the premiership or the premierships. So there's a hunger from, where I was born, 1991. I don't remember 95. I barely remember 99. So there's a real hunger for a generation here for the first one. But we've got a club run by people who have already lived through probably 5+ of them. There's a real identity issue, I think. What are we? We were built on something. We are now something else. We're disingenuous. We tell the world what we project to the world what we think we are. We don't act accordingly. We don't talk accordingly. There are subsections everywhere that represent a different interest. Football seems to be one of many things that is focused on, and it shows up on the field. The attention to detail is just not there, because there isn't an attention to detail in the football department. There isn't an attention to detail on the football from the club. So how can we expect what we see on the field to have that attention to detail? That's where you see those little cracks in defense, misalignment, miscommunication. Like, how can this group not know what to do at this point? How can we be the only team who has had a group that is stuck together for so long and it not be an advantage? How is that happening? These guys have been together for so long. The synergy is meant to be our advantage now because we've kept the group together. Everything that is logically meant to happen at the Carlton Football Club becomes illogical. And so, no more screaming and shouting or maybe there will be. Maybe it'll just continue. But place is rotten, mate. Absolutely rotten. Cut the shit and get serious. Otherwise, it's just going to continue. And then what will it be? Well, we're moving, one more game closer to an external review. Buy these people more time. Well, that's all right. Adelaide's coming up. Get ready. Get ready for the piss up at the winery, mate, with the Penfolds. Get ready. Yeah. The place is shit. It's just no good. Maybe just hold on. Just keep holding on and it'll turn. It's supposed to have turned by now. The injuries was the reason why it ended last year, apparently. And now we find ourselves seemingly behind other teams with the gameplay. I don't know, man. I don't know. Fundamentally just misaligned. How do you feel? What's your perception of what's happening? Were you buoyed by what you saw last night? Is there something to work with? Share your sentiment below with how it's all playing out from your lens. We'll chat about it then. We'll stick together, of course. Carlton people, we are a special bunch. It really is like a warped, it's like a family. There is a family element to it. And we give so much to the club. And we get so much back conditionally. And that is what it is. So chat to you in the comments, sending a lot of love out there. Well done to everyone that came on the fan cams. We'll go from there. Go Blues.